What's up, guys? It's Isaac with the KC Brick Store. I felt good about my first medieval modular project, and I knew I wanted to do another one, so I decided to move on to this medieval blacksmith shop that I had. I was going to make the base kind of an odd size, so I used some base plates and plates to give myself a custom 24 by 32 build area. Now, my initial plan had been to show myself disassembling and reassembling this whole project, but that didn't happen. I'll get into that in a second. I will say building the base of this thing gave me some problems just because of trying to figure out how to lay it all out. And that's a con of the way that I build. The way that I tend to do things is I just take pieces and start sticking them together and then reconfiguring them over and over again until I find what I want. I know there's people who build very intentionally and really have plans laid out. That just isn't me. So this is kind of the painful way that proceeds. But regardless, as I was saying, I was going to record the whole process of trying to put this together, but that just took so much time. Honestly, between me fiddling around with pieces and then working on this off and on for a couple months, trying to find the right parts and making sure that I was putting things together in the way that I wanted to, it just became impractical to actually record this whole process. So we're going to skip ahead to the final product. Congratulations, we made it. Anyway, this is the way it looks, guys. I'm really pleased with the way that it came out. I started these projects because I wanted a medieval city that I could fit on a bookshelf. I'd tried to do bigger Mocs before, taking up whole tables and things like that. And that was just too many pieces and too complicated to move, too cumbersome. So very pleased with how this came out. I didn't spend a lot of time trying to make the sides look nice, since those theoretically are going to be covered by other buildings or things like that. But pragmatically, I think it came out really well. The roof is probably the most, I'm not going to lie, the roof is the most annoying part of the build process. There's probably ways you could do it better, but it involves these little pieces, and then you just weave them together into a larger pattern like this. And you can brace it on the back. You do have to do that on larger sections, but it's a little bit cumbersome. There's probably folks who can do it better than the way that I've done it. Granted, I've never seen anybody do this style of roof before, but anyway, if we go inside, the interior is pretty sparse at the moment. I did take over some items from the original blacksmith shop here. So we do have the bed and the bearskin rug. We've got the desk and a little settee there, but pretty bare bones, as I mentioned. If we go ahead and go down to the middle floor, also similar type of situation. At some point, I would like to build more of a longer table, some other chairs as well. Probably make smaller scale chairs, to be honest. But I did make an extended kitchen area. I know it's a little bit hard to see from this angle, but there's actually the cooking station from the Tower of Barad-dûr in there. But yeah, I think I'm pretty pleased with the way that it came out, but it's still pretty plain inside, so would like some more work there. The trellis on the outside, or the framing on the outside on the edge there, that was a little bit tricky. It's not the most stable or sturdy, so I could do better work there, but going into the workshop, it's kind of a similar story to the rest of the build, to be honest. There's some copied and pasted elements from the original build in there, some of the tables. One of the more notable things is that little hidey hole or cubby under the stairs that had been facing out, right? And so I just turned it in and then put some wood for the fire in there. There's little tools. The bellows still makes the fireplace light up, the forge light up rather, but I couldn't have it on the outside anymore because it would have run into the next building over. As far as the cobblestone work goes, I think it's fine. I do wish that I had more dark gray pieces to kind of flesh it out, but I just had a little limited part selection there. I like the blacksmith. I think he looks really good. So happy with him as well. But there definitely could be some more fleshing out of the interior here. As far as what it would be like put next to the building that I made earlier, we'll go ahead and hop on to that. And I think they look really good together. You might have noticed the roof was oddly chinked over on one side, and that was really just to make sure that it could fit next to this other building. So very happy with these two. I probably should have put them on Mills plates, to be honest, so that I could go ahead and Technic pin them together, but I do really like the way that they look. I'm excited to make more of these buildings and fill out the street with some more characters and things like that. But all in all, very happy with the process and the project, and I think it's a fun way to experiment with these buildings. Thanks, guys.